Okay, this is a little video I'm making on how to fix the broken button, the spring button on a Silky pole saw. This is the Silky Hayate. The Hayate, as you can see right there. This is the one that extends to 21 feet, I think it is. Anyways, so there's a common problem with the button breaking on the last fly. It's the final button where the, at least this is the one I had a problem with. You might have a problem with another one. So I'm making this video for people that have had the button break where the head attaches the closest button to that final section, the fly section. And when I was starting to do this, it was so frustrating. I was thinking, should I make a video documenting how I do this? And I was like, I don't have time for diddling around. I need to get this thing done. And then, so now I got it in there, and I want to show you how I got it in. It's kind of tricky. So, Cheryl Arborist, Cheryl Tree Equipment, sells these buttons. And my button that was on this thing broke off. There's a little tab right here that sticks out. And that tab broke off, and it holds a solid milled steel button. And that's this thing. It looks like it's just hollow steel, but that's actually solid steel with a milled hole in it. There's a little extruded protrusion that sticks out up here on this spring, and it holds the button. And this kind of lies inside like this. The problem is when you slide it down in there, it slides in like this, and you can't get this up. You can't get this up to where, let me hold this. I don't have a camera, man. I'm doing this all myself. So I gotta focus. When this thing slides down and the button pops in, it's like this. So in order to get it like this, I was thinking, how am I going to get this thing up so I can thread the screw in there? It has to go up and it has to be aligned. I want it to be aligned and everything. You know, because when you're threading something, the last thing you need is misalignment. You're going to strip something. But I was amazed at how, when I made this device, and this is what I made. Here it is right here. A piece of pine. I had some scrap pine finish wood laying around, and I whittled out a long stick, and it has to be tapered thin. I tapered it real thin at the end, and I had to drive this in about 20 inches long of this, and I had to taper it down so it would fit. It would fit down in this shaft right here. And I had to go down in there, see if I can get a shot of the gullet in there, of the channel. Got to get lighting just right. Wish I had 3 hands or a cameraman, then I could use both of my hands and do this for you guys. Anyways, so you're just going to have to suffer through this. You slide this thing down in here and get underneath that spring. So here's the spring mechanism down here. Spring is when you finally slide this thing in, and sliding this in was tricky too, because when you're sliding it in, and you put the button on here. Sorry, this is broken. I don't have a button for demonstration, but if you order all 3 parts, you get the spring, the button, and the screw. Get all 3 parts. About $15 from Cheryl Arborist Supply at the time of this video. Anyways, when you put it in there, you have to depress this down, get the button in there. As you're sliding it in, this will try to drop down. I mean, it'll try to pop up. That's what happened. It was popping up, and then it would jam and it wouldn't slide. So when you're driving it in, this is what I used to drive it in. I mean, you can make something better than this. This is an old pony clamp. I had a long one, and I just made sure I kind of pressed down at an angle like this, and it popped up on me a couple of times, and I had to retract it. And this is what you retract. This is how you recover the whole assembly in the first place. Coat hanger wire with a little hook bent into it, so you can reach in there. You reach in there and you turn it 90 degrees and pull it out, and then that's how I got it out the first time. And then when I was inserting it, I had to make sure I was driving it down at the right angle. You want to drive it in downwards like this. Hold it with the other hand so I get the lighting on there better. So when you're driving this spring assembly in, you don't want it to pop up like this in relation to here's the buttonhole. You don't want it to pop up. You want it to stay down like this. So you're driving it in like this, and then when you finally get here, it'll go pa-ching, it'll snap in there. The problem is this will be down here. So how do you get that up? You use this tool. This tool I slid in here, and it slid underneath the spring. And what it was able to do was it was able to get underneath this and rise this up. And it was able to rise this up like that into position. It was able to raise this, and I saw it coming up as I was driving the stick in there. I had to reshape the stick a couple times. I thought I would only need this much reach, and as I was driving it in, it would jam, and I kept playing. So you got to whittle down about 16 inches at least, if not more. And this stick overall is about 20 inches long of pine. I drove it in, and it raised it up. And then I recommend using blue Loctite on there for the screw, and snug it down really good. So yeah, hope that tip helps you out. It's the best I can do. I mean, it was frustrating, so just be lucky you even got this video. This is for the Silky Hayate 3-section. And I figured it out with no help at all, so hopefully with this information and a little bit of brain juice you can figure this out. Alright, well, take care.